Welcome to this explainer, where we're diving headfirst into the high-stakes world of telecom troubleshooting. Today, we're going to reveal the incredibly disciplined framework that field technicians actually use to keep the internet alive. And honestly, whether you're managing a massive enterprise infrastructure or just trying to get your home Wi-Fi back online so you can finish a movie, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this.
We have all felt that sudden, sinking panic of a network outage, right? The Wi-Fi drops, everything stops. But fixing it, well, it isn't about frantically mashing keys on a laptop or hacking into mainframes like you see in the movies. It's actually about following a strict, sensory-based investigation. A professional technician acts way more like a detective arriving at a crime scene than a coder.
So, here's the fault-handling roadmap we're going to use to crack the case. 1. The pre-troubleshooting ritual. 2. The 60-second scan. 3. The do no harm rule. 4. The handover protocol. And 5. Documenting the fix.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the pre-troubleshooting ritual, which is all about conducting a sensory investigation.
Listen to this. Before booting up a single piece of diagnostic software, a true professional acts as the literal eyes and ears of the network. This force-sense inspection protocol catches 80% of faults immediately. Look for pinched cables, listen for failing fans, smell for ozone, which, by the way, is an absolute code red, and carefully touch the vents to feel for extreme heat. I know it sounds crazy. Yes, you're essentially sniffing and poking the router, but it works.
If you walk past these faults, you are not a technician. You are just a visitor. That is a fantastic quote straight from a training drill at the Etisalat Academy. Get this, they literally plant obvious faults in a room, like a silent, unplugged fan tray or a dramatically kinked fiber cable, and give students 2 minutes to spot them. It highlights that if you miss the obvious physical clues, you're entirely missing the point of the investigation.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 60-second scan, where we're finding the physical clues.
You know, a completely dead internet connection is so often just a dead wall socket or a physically crushed cable. It's crazy. Always investigate these 4 simple physical culprits first. Check the human factor. Did someone bump the router while vacuuming? Check the power integrity to make sure the outlet itself is actually live. Check the cable condition for sharp bends, especially with those really fragile fiber lines. And finally, check the alarm status.
And when you're checking those alarms, decoding the LED clues instantly saves you hours of headaches. Green means you're good. Orange is a low signal warning. But watch those reds. A solid red is a critical hardware failure, while a blinking red means a loss of signal, like, say, a severed fiber cable. The device is literally handing you its status report right there. If you ignore those lights, you might fall into a massive professional trap. You definitely want to avoid becoming what they call the overthinker. This is the technician who wastes 20 minutes running pings and trace routes on their laptop when the power adapter was simply unplugged. Or maybe the fiber was completely chewed through by a rodent. It looks highly unprofessional to the customer and just wastes everybody's time.
So, the absolute golden motto to remember here is this. If you can fix it in 60 seconds with your eyes, don't spend 60 minutes with your laptop. Just prioritize those quick visual wins over complex software analysis every single time. It's a total game changer. Okay, on to Section 3, the do no harm rule, preserving the scene.
Now that you've scanned the scene, you enter the single most critical boundary in telecom. It exists to prevent this very dangerous persona, the rogue improviser. This is the technician who kind of thinks they're smarter than the network architects. They make unauthorized quick tweaks like turning off packet shaping or changing a routing metric just to satisfy a customer on the fly.
But the harsh reality of making those unauthorized logical or physical changes, it turns a minor, easily fixable fault into a very costly disaster. Imagine this. A simple unauthorized change to a VLAN tag could inadvertently disconnect an entire neighborhood. No way. That is why acting as a rogue improviser is considered a severe career-limiting move. The network logs absolutely everything, so your company will know exactly who broke it.
To prevent those disasters and preserve the scene, you got to follow 3 strict boundaries. First, the configuration boundary. Literally never tweak settings unprompted. Second, the physical boundary. Always take a before photo prior to disconnecting any cables. And finally, the authorization chain, which means you have to get documented approval from your network operations center before you change a single thing.
Which brings us to Section 4, the handover protocol, knowing your limits.
Look, no single technician can fix every single problem. So the most important skill for a senior technician actually isn't knowing everything, it's asking this exact question. Do I fix it or escalate it? It's all about swallowing your pride when you've hit the edge of your authority or your expertise. Handing it off or escalating is a smart, professional decision. It's never a failure.
Let's consider the difference between these two scenarios. If a fiber cable is snapped between the wall and the router, well, that's standard field work. You fix it. But if that fiber is broken inside a wall conduit running between the 1st and 10th floors, yeah, you need specialized cable pulling tools and building clearance for that. Holding onto that ticket just stalls the repair. You escalate that immediately.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, documenting the fix, or case closed.
The investigation isn't truly over until the paperwork is filed. At the Training Academy, this core philosophy is drilled in from day one. A repair without a solid record is essentially a ghost event. If you don't document it, the network team learns absolutely nothing, and that very same fault will inevitably return to haunt the company later.
So, you must log your findings using this precise 4-part structure: initial state, diagnosis, action taken, and final state. And here is a massive pro tip: log while you go. Seriously, don't wait until you get back to the office, or you're going to forget specific details like serial numbers and exact error codes. Just document the initial state while you're sitting there waiting for the router to reboot.
And this documentation serves a really massive purpose. Think about it. If you constantly log that fiber is being crushed by office furniture, the company can actually change how they install fiber in the future. By meticulously logging this data, you aren't just a repairman anymore, you're a vital data provider. Your careful documentation literally prevents future outages. How cool is that?
So I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time your internet unexpectedly drops, ask yourself, are you going to rush to blindly reset your router software like an overthinker? Or are you going to take 60 seconds to act like a true network detective and look, listen, smell, and touch first? Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating playbook with me.